Another year using Undersun products. Hi, I'm Jonathan Pritchard with Theology, Geek Fitness. In this video, I wanted to give an update on my use of the Undersun resistance bands, their hip bands. I also own the jump rope, so I have pretty much every product that they sell, a mat, whatever. But yeah, I've been using them for almost 4 years now. Less time with the camo bands since those came out later. But when I first started getting into home training and resistance bands, I used to be really big into just doing a lot of exercises with resistance bands. James Grage was kind of like the pioneer of that as far as predominant band use on the internet. So I got into his videos, and then I realized he sold bands, but they were sold out at the time I was looking for them during the 2020 era. You know, a lot of fitness equipment was sold out, but I eventually got some of his bands, really good bands, and then when they came out with the camo set, I got those. They've also recently come out with a red and black set, but I do not have those. Likely won't get them, but that's because of some other things. But yeah, I've had them for almost 4 years now, and I'm pleased to say that out of 2 orange sets and 1 camo set that I've used, I've only had 2 bands snap on me, you know, and I've got them replaced. So no complaints. The elasticity on the bands are not what they used to be. You know, they're not quite as taut as they used to be given the amount of wear and tear I put them through. But, you know, I mean, if you're training heavily with resistance bands, you know, they tell you to replace them between every 1 to 2 years. So go figure on that. But for me, I've had 3 sets for almost 4 years. Well, the camo set for probably about 2 or 3 years. And other than the 2 snaps which they replaced, everything's been fine. Now, one of the snaps was years after I got the set. And with the camo set, the snap happened relatively quickly after I bought it, which makes me think it was a manufacturing defect as opposed to the, you know, any sort of user error on my part. So that got replaced pretty quickly. But I do know that Undersun has not had the lifetime warranty that they used to have, which made me commend them so heavily in the past. I think they have a 1-year warranty, and there's a few more questions asked as opposed to their old no questions asked policy. But I think the reason they changed it was because the policy was being abused and people were getting a bunch of free bands, even though, you know, because it was no questions asked replacements. And so I get it. I understand that. If you're just constantly sending out new bands, they probably didn't break that much. So, but the camo set, where I had a band break, they replaced it immediately, and so I've had no problem since. But that was within even their new warranty policy. But as far as the orange set, I understand that they've gone through a manufacturing change, and Gamer Body and I think a couple of others have reviewed them and said that they're not as good as they used to be. I don't know. I've never done it, so I can't speak to that, but I just want you to know that those reviews are out there. And I have not had any experience with the new red and black set, but if they're anything like the two-tone camo set, I'm sure that they're really good, and I've heard good things about those. But I do know that some people have expressed displeasure with the newer orange set of bands, but I can't attest to that. Never used them. I haven't ordered any more. Probably won't be ordering any more Undersun bands, just to be transparent. I've started using Bull Bars bands, and I have a review coming out on those. Those are really good, and they're a little bit cheaper than the Undersun bands. But they're not as good as the original. Just kind of a spoiler alert. They're not as good as the original Bull Bar bands, and I'll go in showing the difference why. Because I got a free set of bands when I ordered the Bull Bar 2.0, and then I ordered their 5 set bands that said they had the same technology, but I noticed a difference. So I'll get into that in my fuller review. But they're still really good, especially for the price they sell them for, and especially even more so when they have sales around the holidays. They go real cheap, so that's why I picked up some. So yeah, check out that review. It's coming in the future. It'll be a good one, very informative. So I probably won't be getting any more Undersun bands, to be honest with you. It seems like the owner has set it on James Grage has set it on autopilot for Amazon, and of course he used to be training extensively with bands, but now he's training with weights again and mixing them up with bands and all of that, which is fine. I don't just train exclusively with bands. I use them for various things and train other ways, but it seems like the emphasis that the owners of Undersun had when they started has waned a little bit, so they don't seem to be putting quite as much into their company as they used to. And that, not having the lifetime warranty, and finding comparable products that are as good in quality with other companies for a lower price, that's all led to me probably not, because bands are bands at the end of the day, so I'm probably not going to order any more Undersun bands if I ever need replacement bands, which, like I said, the ones that I use, whether from Undersun or not, have held up great. So Undersun bands, they hold up great. The hip bands, I use those in every one of my lower body workouts. They're fabric, and so those bands, I can't even tell the difference from the day I bought them. They've held up so well. And the only thing I have to compare them to is the hip bands from Angles 90, which are good, but not near as good as the hip bands from Undersun. Even though you get 3 levels of resistance with Angles 90 as opposed to the 2 with Undersun, the Undersun fabric bands are just top-notch in my book, and I use them regularly in my leg day or lower body day workouts. So no complaints there. The mat is a mat. It folds up nice. It's great. It's comfy. Like it. I don't use it a whole lot. The jump rope, same thing. It's a high-quality jump rope, but just don't ever do jump rope that much. So it's almost in like new condition for how little I've used it. So don't really have much to say about that other than I think it'll last forever because it's pretty high quality. So you can check out my initial reviews on their bands and their hip bands and their jump rope and other accessories on the channel. But just to say, after 4 years of using Undersun, I can still say that their products hold up great. They're really, really good. I'm just, when I say I'm probably not going to order them anymore to replace them because I found other companies, is not to take away from Undersun because the stuff's really good. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Undersun several years in. Let me know what your thoughts are. What kind of bands do you like to use? What companies do you like? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. God bless.